At the heart of this reporting, like all good Bloomberg reporting, is you following the money. What did following the money tell you?
Right. Well, what we saw is that over the past few years, Huawei has funded hundreds of researchers and spent millions of dollars. And it was all really without their knowledge. They thought they were being funded by a foundation based in Washington, D.C. that is called the Optica Foundation.
Competition administered by Optica. And in fact, grants, I think you say there are 11 opportunities on the Optica Foundation website to have early career prizes and fellowships. But all but the Huawei-funded competition are basically clear about which backers are providing the money. What did ultimately the Optica Foundation say for its quietness on Huawei's money?
Right, exactly. So the other 10 opportunities all made clear that they were funded by an individual or a company or some combination. The Huawei-funded prize appeared to all the people that I spoke with to be funded by the foundation's general funds. And the response from Optica's CEO was that, look, there's a lot of donors who want to remain anonymous, including U.S. donors. And, effectively, there's no issue with it.
There is examples in other jurisdictions of Huawei being a bit more public, having initiatives to make inroads in those markets. I think particularly in Europe, Kate. Explain what you learned there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as we reported, in countries like France and Germany, Huawei is openly funding, research centers. In the U.S., it's a really different story because several years ago, the U.S. government moved on multiple fronts to restrict Huawei. One of the major restrictions that have been in place are export controls, and that blocks people and companies from sharing tech with Huawei. But what's interesting about this competition is it actually kind of falls through the cracks of all these different regulations because it deals with academic research, which is for the most part meant to be published, and therefore it is not subject to the current export controls that we have in place in the U.S.
Nevertheless, and as a great quote in your piece says, it's a bad look for a prestigious research foundation to be anonymously accepting money from a Chinese company. So really, ultimately, this is about sort of the feel of it rather than actually the letter of the law.
Well, right. There's nothing illegal about this, as far as I could tell in my reporting. It does, though, put the universities who actually accept the money on behalf of these researchers, as well as the researchers themselves, in an uncomfortable position because a lot of the universities have decided independently that they don't want to work with Huawei anymore. Some of them have made public statements about that. And so they're in this weird spot now where some of their researchers have gotten money already, but to do good work, to do science, but they didn't know who was ultimately funding it. And maybe something different would have happened had they known the true source of funding.